Okay, so we're going to talk about how we ended up choosing our sperm donor.
Whew.
We always get a lot of questions on how we decided on who we wanted.
And what qualities we were looking for. It's a
Yes.
big decision. Very big.
Huge decision.
Ooh, that was really, I wouldn't say stressful, but it's the best word I can use to describe it because there's a lot that weighs on that.
It's a huge decision.
Yes.
And
how do you decide? Like, you
Yeah.
feel really superficial at first, and then when you dig deeper into each sperm donor, it's like, I'm still going to be a little superficial, but how we discussed it and how we came to decide on who's a good match, who's not, or how do we, narrow it down. I like how you came up with it. You said, is this a person that we think we would hang out with, in real life?
that we would like in real life,
Yes.
essentially.
Yes. And that was a way to look at it, and it helped us a lot.
Because each sperm donor site, and there's like a whole bunch you can choose from, a lot of them will give you very detailed personality profiles, tell you their interests, their hobbies, their profession, likes, dislikes.
Family history.
Yeah. And so some qualities that we were looking for, there was quite a few, obviously. We wanted someone, first and foremost, healthy, no health history, no family health history, and their genetic carrier status. We wanted one that was pretty non-existent, meaning he didn't have any traits that I could also possibly have, and then our baby would inherit.
Right.
So that was the first thing that we screened all of our potential donors for.
Right.
And I will say we were superficial, and what they looked like
Yes.
mattered.
Yes.
We wanted a donor that looked like a mix of us.
That's a good way of describing that. Like you took her looks and my looks and kind of blended it up, and we wanted somebody as close to that as possible.
Yeah.
And then also somebody that's educated and has a career of some sort. We didn't care if it was
No.
What medicine, law. We didn't care. Just somebody that's educated.
Yeah.
And there are certain sperm banks that offer to hear their voice. They record themselves, and it's a reason. It gives them an opportunity to explain why they decided to donate their sperm.
They'll either do a recording, or there's some that let them write a letter.
Write a letter, so you can see their their point of view.
Yeah, and so we obviously listened to all of those, read all of those letters.
Which is a really cool thing.
Yeah,
I think.
it made it more personal. But we really wanted like a more well-rounded donor. So either they were like musically inclined, or they just had like diverse hobbies.
It kind of let you know they primarily right brain, left brain, mix of both, what their family does for a living, and so you're kind of feeling like you're a part of their family, or you are dating that person, for lack of better words.
Yeah. So we wanted a donor where we could see lifetime pictures, so not just the baby pictures. That was really important to us.
Huge. Because I will tell you, you will see a baby,
Super cute baby.
whoo, super cute, and then you click on over to their adult picture, and you're like, is that the same?
Yeah. So we really only considered donors that had lifetime pictures. We didn't look at really any of the donors that only had baby pictures.
I know that sounds so superficial, but that's essentially that's half of it.
Yeah, so
say it.
that was a part of it. As far as like likes, dislikes, hobbies, stuff like that, we didn't really have any specific criteria. We just wanted someone that had diverse interests, seemed well-rounded.
And our sperm donor, his letter was really well written, and his
Heartfelt.
his reason for donating his sperm, it was not financial. It was,
Which, if it is financial, that's fine.
great, but it really let me feel his, I don't know,
Intentions,
Yeah.
and it made us just feel more secure about choosing him.
He essentially said, I know I have an easy ability, because I have sperm, just, it's part of me. But there are people out there that don't have that ability to have a family as easily as he did or does.
It was just a very respectable reason and letter, and we kind of touched on this, but we liked the idea of like, we would like him in real life. We would want to be friends with him in real life. We would enjoy him as a person.
We respect him and who he is. Yeah.
And so that made our decision a lot easier. And there's just this like, when you find the one, you get like a gut feeling, like, yep, this is the one.
Yep.
We had found a few donors previous to our final one.
One in particular
that we really
were
liked.
This close to
Yeah,
getting.
we really liked, but we still had a few like hesitations. He was a carrier for something that I wasn't tested for, so you run the risk of me also happening to be a carrier.
Yeah.
And so we were like on the fence, but we hadn't found anyone else, so we were like, maybe we should just, gamble and take the risk. But we're not gamblers and risk takers. But that was a very challenging process. You described it as you find someone and then it's almost like being repeatedly broken up with.
Yeah.
Because you find someone and then
they're not genetically, compatible. And you're like, oh,
Yeah.
I really love that one,
Or like you find them and they only have one vial of sperm and we needed 3 just per our clinic's request.
Yeah.
And they only had 1 vial of sperm.
Yeah. And it's
And
just
so-
like a huge letdown when you realize, we really loved this one, and then no. And then you get to the next one, really love that one. No.
And because we were rightfully so very picky, and so it was like we had already taken so long to narrow down our choices, because you'll find one and you're like, okay, they look good, and then you find like one little thing and it's like,
That's a deal breaker, It's kind of like when you're dating. I mean, it's a deal breaker. I'm not okay with that. And then you start back at square one again. It's a long process, and there's a lot of pressure, I feel like.
and like I feel like the timing just has to be right. Like that donor is available, they have enough sperm to purchase.
Yes.
It's also, you have to choose sperm that's like compatible with what your clinic wants, because there's like different washed versus unwashed and different counts and stuff.
A lot of people have asked us since the start of all of this, why is there a reason you didn't try to find your own sperm donor rather than going to a sperm bank? And that's a great question, and we did consider it.
Yeah, because there's
But-
also like these new I don't know,
Regulation.
companies well, no, I was talking about there's these new companies that they like pair, almost like dating,
Like
but
a
they,
dating
like, pair you with like a known donor, which is great if that's the route people want to take. It's just with us, we didn't want to have like any personal relationship with the donor. Didn't really want to know the donor in that way.
I think it came down to, we are Shepherd now that we have Shepherd. We are Shepherd's parents solely. There's not a third party involved that would, we want to be mom and mom. We want to be his parents. And
Well, and more so, it just opens the door for, I don't know, other scenarios. I've heard of like sperm donors trying to get parental rights in certain situations, and we just didn't even want to open that door.
no.
Now, we did choose a donor that's open to being contacted when he turns 18, so that was important to us, that there's that option
Yeah.
if Shepherd wants to pursue that. But we just didn't want to make that decision for him,
No.
that like he's going to know the donor whether he wants to or not. I don't know. For us, we chose a donor through a sperm donor site, but it wasn't a decision made lightly by any means.
No.
And I feel like it did take a couple months, maybe.
Of just constantly
I
looking
mean,
on.
multiple times a day, logging on, seeing if anything's changed.
It's almost like a swipe left, no. Swipe
Yeah.
right, okay, maybe, and look back at it, and see if they're
And
compatible.
we're on 5 different sites
Yeah.
looking for sperm donors.
And not to mention, you have to sign in and pay to get certain amount of information on
Like,
each site.
if you want more than one picture, like on some sites, you have to pay $50 to be able to
Yes.
see more.
I mean, it's expensive. It gets costly, but
Worth it because you want, they're half of your child's DNA. It's
yes,
very important.
Yes.
Yeah, we did finally find a donor. The stars aligned. We found one. There was enough of the vials that we could purchase.
The stars aligned. I mean, it was like we logged on. This donor had not been on these a bunch of these websites, or he's only available, on one particular company's website. But it was like we had check, and all of a sudden he came on, and he's exactly what we wanted. And we're like, okay, this can't be that perfect. And we kept, researching about him and looking at his profile, and it was like, wow, this is actually. This is real. This is perfect. And, you can't really wait that long. It's like they're going to get, that sperm donor's sperm is going to get
Yeah, I
snagged.
will say it's kind of like a split decision you have to make
Yeah.
because if you wait too long, then they're unavailable with like in a day,
Yeah.
literally. So then when we found our one that we ended up choosing, it was like, this is perfect. He's
Yeah.
the one. There's no question. And also, like we said, we just jumped on it. And
Have never regretted
no,
one bit. Never had that second after you clicked purchase.
buyer's remorse. Yeah.
Buyer's remorse, never. It was, because, I mean, it's weird. This morning, Alex and I were talking, and I said, you know, it's crazy. Do you see the sperm donor in Shepherd, or do you see yourself more in Shepherd? And, you know, looking at this time period in our donors' baby pictures, I can see a little bit, but
Yeah.
I can see a lot of Alex as well. And that doesn't bother us. Like, it's not a thing that, you know.
No.
But
Yeah.
looking back, it's it's like we have Shepherd, and he's so perfect to us, and it was so meant to be, because we wouldn't have Shepherd unless we had chosen that sperm donor and found him at that moment. And so everything was so perfect. It was
Yeah.
meant to be.
And I think, yeah, purchasing or choosing the sperm is just such a big moment in like the fertility journey, especially for like LGBTQ couples or lesbian couples, I guess. It's such a big moment because it's like, okay, now it's real. Like we have all of the things we need to be able to make a baby now. So that I feel like was one of the more surreal moments during our fertility journey. I'd say that, and then obviously our embryo transfer, but it was,
And then the positive pregnancy test.
well, yes, obviously.
Those are the
but-
three, I think, three big moments.
Yeah. Choosing a sperm donor is extremely hard. No one talks about how hard it is. People
No.
are just like, oh, we chose it and it was great.
Yeah.
It was really hard. It was really stressful. And we had like all of our family involved trying to weigh in on
Yeah.
pros and cons. And yeah.
But
it
I
all
think-
ended up being perfect.
Yeah, I think it all was meant to be. Very serendipitous. Is that a good word?
Big word. Yeah.
You're going to take that out, aren't you?
No, keep that in there.